All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Lookout. Today's the 12th of October. We're going to take a quick look at intel for the shoe fire, which is burning on the Shasta Trinity National Forest. If you're just joining us for the first time, my name is Zeke Lunder. This is the Lookout. We're based out of Chico, California, and we take public information for active wildfires and interpret it and give you our assessment. I've been doing this work for about 30 years, all over Northern California. I want to throw out full disclosure this morning. The company that I manage, Deer Creek Resources, has gotten an order for mapping equipment to go support this fire. So we'll have a trailer with some map plotters and stuff headed up to the fire today. I'm not assigned to that equipment, and I'm not really involved in the operations of that part of the company. So the Lookout is independent from my day job, and I don't get any sort of inside information from the equipment we have out there, or really any sort of like backdoor access to any data. This is all coming straight off open public websites. Anyway, this is an interesting fire. It's burning in a pretty remote area, and it's a pretty steep country, and they're taking an indirect attack approach to this fire. So just kind of give you the big picture real quick. Here's Shasta Lake down here. Here's the Carr fire. Here's the Delta fire from 2018. Carr fire is 2018. The Hers fire from 2018. And up here is the Bagley fire from 2012. Haven't been any other big fires in this area for a long time, in this immediate area. And over here would be like Round Mountain. And here's Redding. And up here is Lakehead. So it's kind of a long way from anything, and right now it's not really threatening anything. It's not threatening Round Mountain. It's not threatening anything over here. Not likely to, even with severe weather. If we had, we could have a week of east winds, and this fire's not gonna like burn all the way through this 6-year-old burn scar and get to Highway 5. Bernie is a long ways off. Anyway, pretty interesting to me. This it's only grown, it's about 4 square miles now. It grew about 400 acres yesterday. And the white line is showing where the fire was the night before last. And then the perimeter here is from 6:30 p.m. last night. So you can see that the fire is it's just kind of spreading slowly out. What we call flanking. A little bit of a run here where had up canyon winds. So there's some runs. We said a couple days ago we expected the fire to kind of burn out this whole drainage, but it's not happening very fast. So you can see that it hasn't grown more than like a quarter mile in any specific direction. So we'll start down here. We're looking kind of north. The fire started down in here, and so we're going to do just kind of we're going to go, what do they say, go around the horn and talk about what the strategy is. And the strategy here is coming from InsaWeb. InsaWeb is, it's come a long way. In the past, 10 years ago, InsaWeb was really generic, and it didn't have very specific information, and now they're starting to pull in information, I think, directly from the incident. Intel reports that are filed from the fire to the kind of regional coordination centers. So every day on a fire, there's a position called the Situation Unit Leader, which is a role that I've worked in on some like big prescribed fires and prescribed fire trainings. And our job is to kind of take all the intel from sources like I'm showing you, and write a daily detailed report that goes to the regional kind of GAC or coordination center. And the coordination center decides who's getting what resources, and they set the priorities. And so that's called the 209. And InstaWeb has started to really include a lot of that detailed kind of intel. So here, this is a public website, instaweb.wildfire.gov. And they've got planned actions. Division A, Division Papa and Mike, Division Tango, Division Z, Zulu. So we're just going to take and tell you what they're saying here and interpret it on the map. So Division Alpha, we're going to go around. They're assessing indirect options to utilize the trail as a control feature and protect isolated structures. So here's Division Alpha, and the trail they're talking about is here. This trail. So they're looking at how they can prep this trail and tie it back down to the creek here, and potentially all the way around here, right? But if you look at the white line on this map versus the red line, there hasn't been any direct attack on this fire, really just about anywhere on the fire. If you want to check out some, if you have the InstaWeb and you want to check out kind of on a good map, you can use CalTopo, caltopo.com, which is a great website that allows you to kind of bring in your own stuff. And usually they have a fire perimeter on here. This one, I'm not sure where the perimeter is, but you'll often be able to turn on the fire perimeter in CalTopo. Anyway, I'm using the CalTopo maps in Google Earth to look at what we're talking about here. So they're talking about indirect on Division Alpha to tie into a trail that goes up on the ridge over here. But in the meantime, the fire is just kind of not flank. This is a really good fire, right? And I think that's one of the reasons that they're doing this indirect strategy is they can't say they're just letting it burn, but right now this fire is like beneficial, right? It's just backing slowly downhill. There's, like I said before, it's steep. There's a lot of oaks out here, and oak forest creates this nice fluffy leaf litter. And so you get this mixed kind of pine needle and leaf litter that it's a great fuel for backing fire. The fire can just kind of munch along, but this is basically like great fire effects, what we're seeing out here. They're saying, like, oh, we have some isolated kind of single tree torching. That's fine. That means that the fire is basically staying on the ground. So pretty much they're going indirect all the way around. Their ops map shows kind of some planned indirect dozer line. They've had a lot of resources out there, and those resources are doing something, prepping indirect line here and there. It's supposed to rain this morning, and just a trace, but be really kind of subdued. There's not going to be enough heat today for the inversion to lift, so they're not going to be able to use aircraft very well. It's going to be smoked in. That's great for fire behavior. It just means that the fire is really going to kind of lay down. In places where they have opportunity, they'll be able to go direct on the fire when it lays down. The problem is that the topography here isn't great for, you're not going to send crews up in here probably to go indirect or to go direct and end up like uphill the fire, So once we see the fire lay down with the mellow weather, it's more likely that they would come and like cut some hand line down one of these ridges or something. The reason they haven't until now is because as you saw yesterday, like in the afternoon yesterday, the fire did make this kind of significant short run. And if you'd had a crew out here putting in line, that could have been bad for them. Anyway, we'll pull up the ops map here and just show you where they've got some planned dozer line. I think it's not unlikely that the fire, because they aren't really doing anything direct on this flank here in what is this? Not sure if this creek has a name, but This fire is, it's just backing down this kind of steep slope down towards the creek, and it's not unlikely that the fire will cross the creek in there if there's no one in there doing firefighting. And then when it does, it's going to be set up to run up Curl Ridge here. There's those line of Curl Ridge to the west, and they might be doing indirect line up there. It doesn't say anything in the incident action plan about indirect line on that ridge. But if the fire does get down across the creek here, it's going to want to run up Curl Ridge. That could even happen, like a week from now. Looking at our kind of fire weather, like we're supposed to have 100% humidity the next 2 days, a little bit of rain, and then really high maximum humidities, like out for the whole next week. So it's pretty much probably the weather's going to put this fire out, or the weather's going to knock the fire down enough that they're going to kind of have opportunities to go direct and kind of box it in. But I think that's one reason that they're not really going crazy or going super, taking big risks to put people on super steep ground, is because they look at this weather here. They see that we've been getting good fire effects and the weather's going to kind of knock this fire down. And that the whole week outlook, there's not like a lot of kind of sketchiness. We're going to have some good prescribed burning conditions during the day, even kind of marginal, like Thursday 62 with a low humidity of 37. Like that's barely a prescribed fire prescription. But Monday and Tuesday, actually Sunday, Monday and Tuesday, just if they don't get any precip, like we could get some slope driven runs up out of here. But all in all, the biggest thing that's threatened here is private timberland. Right now the fire's burning in some Sierra Pacific Industries land here and here. This isn't land where they've got, up here there's some recent clear cuts, and hence probably some baby trees they planted that they probably wouldn't have wanted to incinerate. A lot of slash in there. Timber companies roll the dice when they try to do tree farming in this wild steep land. They're counting heavily on the Forest Service to protect their investments from, that's weird, from future incineration. And it's a gamble, and they know that. I assume that they're unhappy with the Forest Service deciding just to not to send people in to keep the fire out of their tree farms. But what you gonna do? I've always kind of felt like if the timber companies really want to roll the dice and grow trees in these really fire-dependent ecosystems, maybe they should pay directly for the very large air tankers and bulldozers and hand crews and other things that are necessary, because otherwise they're just kind of this obstacle to letting fires burn out in these wildlands that need fire. Anyway, I got to go to work, people. Thanks for supporting Lookout. Right now, we're kind of lagging on putting anything up on our website. We do have a kind of feature here on our website right now. There's our initial assessment of this fire that talks about the land ownership patterns and about kind of some of the obstacles to letting fires like this that are doing good work burn in general. And I think it's an important read. So if you get the time, jump on the lookout.org. Check it out. If you like our reporting and want to support us, you can buy some merch, buy a hat, buy a shirt, or subscribe, which is what we like, because then I kind of have some income here to pay for all the little Lookout expenses. Also, check out QTAC. I'm teaching prescribed fire training this week, and we're using our QTAC fire engine. It's great equipment, and I'll post some videos of that training and us using the equipment, but we appreciate their support. I've got a question over here. Someone's asking about herbicide. Why do they replant? Why do they use herbicide? Most of the places like where Sierra Pacific and other large landowners own land, they own that land because it's highly productive. It's great places to grow trees, and as such, it kind of happens that the sweet spot for growing trees for companies like SPI is also kind of the sweet spot for vegetation to grow in general. So like a lot of these places, there's a ton of oaks, and so if you come in here and close, you can see like there's a ton of like little baby oaks. And so when you clear cut the oaks, there's already a lot of oaks out here, and they sprout back from the base, and they come in, and also brush. So places that are good to grow trees also grow brush really well, and brush grows faster than trees. And so if you don't spray herbicide, the trees don't the trees have a hard time punching up through the brush, and eventually they will, but it takes like 20 or 30 years for the trees to really kind of be free of the brush, and so it slows the whole process of trees growing down significantly if they have to compete with heavy brush. So when they first clear cut, they'll I still don't know what this is. So like in the Bagley fire, so this fire that we're on here is going to push up. It has been growing steadily towards the Bagley fire. And so the Bagley fire, like when they salvage logged it after 2012, so you can see before the fire, a lot of this land that they had here in Bagley was kind of brushy, but it's grown conifers, and so be curious when this burned before. But after it burned, then they salvage logged it, and they replanted. And so when they salvage log, opens up the whole canopy, and then there's potential for a lot of brush to come in. So then they spray to kill everything. Yeah. And then they plant it, and their little baby trees don't have to fight the brush or the grass. And then eventually their baby trees are coming in. This is 4 years later. 5. And now if the brush comes in strong, their baby trees are like 20 feet tall. Anyway, that's what happens on private lands after fire. Is they clear cut it, and they spray the shit out of it. So like after the Dixie fire, there's kind of like this moonscape. On the private lands where, like over here by Lake Almanor, Chester, there's like thousands of acres around Chester here where they've salvage logged and they've sprayed, and it's a freaking moonscape for on and on and on out there. Wildness. So yeah, if your objective is to reestablish conifers, it's an effective tool. The thing I don't like about it is this is the headwaters of the state water project for drinking water for 25 million Californians, and there's no vegetation out here. So all this, and I'm not an herbicide expert, but I think to me it seems like if you take helicopters and you go and like spray herbicide across like 20,000 acres or something at the headwaters of the state water project, and then it all goes into these water bodies, and Like, there are buffers. They're not spraying right up along active creeks and stuff, but when it rains out here, there's creeks everywhere. And I don't I don't love that. I don't love that that's happening. I don't love that over here above Chico, where I live. Like, if you look at Chico Creek Canyon, all this private land up in the headwaters of Chico Creek burned really hot. And where's our stuff there? I was looking for some imagery of this area. We got a park fire. Right, so this is like Chico Creek Canyon above where I live. All this private timberland here that burned hot is going to get clear cut and herbicided. And then all that runoff comes down here, and this is like the creek that goes through Bidwell Park where I swim with my kids. And so I don't love the whole herbicide thing. I mean, the amounts that they spray, it's pretty intense for that first entry. I mean, some people pointed out, like, okay, well, you eat food from the valley that's sprayed multiple times every year, and here we're spraying like heavily once every 50 years. But I still don't like it. I don't love it. Anyway, these are big losses that Sierra Pacific has taken in the park fire. All right, well, got to go to work, people. Excited we got this prescribed fire training exchange going on, and it's hopeful, even though like the entire landscape around us is burning up as we teach people about fire. We're doing it out here in Cohasset, right out here, and this is a place where actually we've done some prescribed fire. And today what we're doing is we're walking around looking at how the prescribed fire we did may or may not have affected stopping this, helping keep this fire that burned hot out of here from roasting the rest of Cohasset. So we're driving up through burnt Cohasset to get there, and it's pretty heavy, but hopeful at the same time. All right, thanks, Arch Stanton. Appreciate you watching and your comments. Thanks to all you regulars. Appreciate you guys. See ya.